If you're like me, you've noticed a resurgence in MP3 players, offline music like vinyls, and distraction-free devices. My phone is too distracting. Even the Spotify app has a doom-scrolling feed now. So in a previous video, I shared about how I've been using a smartwatch without straps to listen to music. This is so close to perfect, especially when I'm trying to wind down in bed before sleep. However, there's a couple problems that I hope to solve in this video. Number one, it's a slippery sucker. It's made for a wrist, but the aging battery doesn't support an entire day's worth of use. Instead of becoming e-waste like the potential millions of aging smartwatches around the world, we're going to try and give it a second purpose in life and make some sort of enclosure for MP3 player style usage. Number two, it's wireless charging only. Specifically, I don't like the original charger with that built-in length of cable. And number three, it's hard to find. Having disabled every tap and tilt to wake feature to optimize battery life means it's near impossible to find in the bed in the dark, as it's a black pebble. Now, I've thought of a solution for finding the 3D printed parts in the dark. Haven't tried this before, so we'll see how that goes today. And I've also bought some off-the-shelf options for a second design that's a bit easier to replicate. But if you want to 3D print parts and you don't have a 3D printer at home, then you could use today's sponsor, PCBWay.com. We simply upload your files, select a material, color, and quality to get an instant quote to be manufactured and shipped to you. On top of a custom PCB, you can get parts CNC'd as well as other advanced manufacturing methods. Big thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. I'm aware of the Mighty 3 player. If you missed part one, I went over the distraction-free Spotify streaming device, but the 5,000 5-star reviews don't align with app stores or Amazon. That sets off far too many red flags for me to purchase a product, and a second-hand smartwatch is not only cheaper, but has more features thanks to apps. Whether you rip CDs or bought digital files, you can transfer them to the watch with an app that I found called Wearables. This worked for FLAC, WAV, and MP3 files. The only issue I had was the progress bar kind of glitched out, but I could skip forwards and back 30 seconds. So on top of streaming Spotify or say Audible, this is technically an MP3 player now, but it just doesn't feel good in hand. I think I've killed another one of these palm plants. When was the last time I watered my plants? Anyway, I want the watch to be housed between two 3D printed pieces. So the idea is it'll be like a top and a bottom, and then I'll just use some like bolts to hold them together, so it'll be sandwiched. And then some sort of extension for the crown so I can still use the dial and button when it's thicker. Thankfully, I've already done the hard part of 3D modeling a mount for the Google Pixel Watch Generation 1. This was done when I mounted it in my car to be a simple turn-by-turn GPS. But since it overheated in the Aussie heat, I've now repurposed it as this MP3 player, and will now repurpose those old models to create the enclosure. These are the old prototypes. I kind of forgot how small this wheel is. The crown is actually really teeny. Just calling up to see if you guys replace smartwatch batteries, like a Pixel watch. I was curious to know how much it would cost to get a new battery put in this smartwatch, and the local repair shop said $127. They do a lot of Apple and Galaxy watches. He actually had an Apple Watch, the 18 karat gold one, in because Apple no longer replaces battery in first gen Apple Watches. Imagine paying $17,000 for a smartwatch from Apple, and then one day they decide they no longer want to change the battery for you. So they just don't. Anyway, the repair shop said that their supplier doesn't have spare batteries for my first generation Pixel smartwatch, so they could look elsewhere, but the process isn't going to be straightforward. Surprisingly, this has a 3-year warranty. So I could ask Google to replace the battery, but what happens after 3 years? What about after 1 year with a normal smartwatch and it's out of warranty? Yeah, if you can't get that specific battery, then this eventually won't even tell you the time. Like my analog watch here, it's gone flat. $10, local jeweler, new battery, done. And I know we're doing apples to oranges here, but
we're still talking fruit. We're still talking batteries and watches, and it shouldn't be that complicated. It's just another product in our life that's been created with planned obsolescence on the hardware. Eventually, you can't get the battery and you need to buy a new model. That's why I rock a $50 fitness tracker daily. I'm not afraid to break the screen, I get notifications from my phone, and it's got a 2-week battery life. I talk about this in my favorite tech and tools vid, linked on screen. Bit snug.
The trickiest part of this design is the scroll wheel, or the crown of the watch. Pressing it wakes the screen, but also opens the app drawer, closes the active app, and press and hold will actually give you your power options. Now in this design, it's fine to press, but I also need to be able to scroll it, because rotating the crown is how you scroll through lists of apps or playlists in Spotify. And so I need some way to scroll the wheel whilst it's encased in a case. All right, moment of truth. In this goes quite good. Now I just need the scroll wheel to work. Does it fit over the crown? I don't want to break it by forcing it. Oh, it needs to be tight enough to grip it as well. Oh, it's like clicking the button. Oh, that's my style, man. That looks so good. I was gonna recess bolts into the back, but I think I can actually just do it straight into the plastic like this one. It's just the button size that needs to be smaller.
Bro, I just remember the joke about Tamagotchis, and I said like, a fitness tracker is just like a Tamagotchi, except you're the dumb pet you're trying to keep alive. It's so good. I actually like genuinely love that one. But the theme of Tamagotchis makes sense in a second, because my second design was suggested by a lot of you in the comments, and that is to add a carabiner instead of a watch strap to make it like a Tamagotchi. So the first thing I bought was adapters for the Google Pixel Watch custom mount to a standard watch strap. These are all metal, but their tolerances are nowhere near close enough that it just rattles. Either way, they came with these little like spring pins for a normal watch strap, but I did find ones that have a little lever. I'll switch to a macro shot. This one's like a bolt action. You pull down the lever. That way you can quick release a strap or pop the bar into the watch mount. Now, I'm hopeful this may be wide enough. Oh, are you kidding me? How close is that? You know what? That kind of works. Now you might be thinking, Cam, that's dumb. Who puts a watch like this? Nurses, checkmate, that's right. There's a bunch of like Apple Watch straps like this for nurses and doctors, because they can't be wearing a watch when they're working, they better wash their hands, it's not sanitary. So I just kind of like crafted my own here. But I also found a screen protector, which I'm not gonna glue on because it actually has like the adhesive, but this will actually clip around the watch. Whoa, that's sick. Transformer, watch, easy, done. Bumper helped, far out. Goodness me. We're trying to make it less droppable.
Put this little end cap on. Oh, I shouldn't have filleted it. Now it's too big. Oh, but then does it fit this? I found a wireless charger that I like. This one I can use any length or color of cable with. And those cables can be micro USB or USB-C.
I love the bolts, but maybe the design would be better if we flipped it, the bolts become what it sits on.
Now my secret sauce is gonna be this filament. Now, I've got a crazy ass torch here, I sent this a while ago. It's the Wubin X1 Falcon, 12,000 lumens, and watch what it does to this. Oh my God, I'm gonna go blind. Ready? Dude, it's glow in the dark filament. So I'm gonna load this into the printer. All I know about this stuff is that you need a hardened nozzle because it's really abrasive when printing. And it only works in the full size AMS if you run Bamboo Lab machines. But I'm excited to see like how it comes out. I did get some comments from you guys in the last video saying that a pocket watch conversion is a thing. Sure enough, I looked on Thingiverse and found a prototype for a Pixel Watch to a Pocket Watch conversion. It's got a little flap to cover the screen. And Felix, which is a subscriber, messaged me on Instagram some images of his Pocket Watch mod for a CMF Watch 2 Pro. He put his on a retractable keychain. And if he gives me the links, I'll put them in the description below. As for handheld use, there's a $79 case called the Teeny Pod for the Apple Watch. But beware that the touch wheel is actually a simple belt from the watch crown. So you still have to do all the selection and touches on the watch's screen. But I did see a vid from a dude named Moeen where he custom coded a Bluetooth keyboard so the input can actually select things. Whilst my Pixel Watch doesn't have keyboard input support for accessibility, it is really cool to see for Apple Watches. And as usual, I'll put the links to my files for this project in the description below, along with the sign up page to my 3D printing guide for beginners. It's everything that I wish I knew before I started.
Mate, I'm stoked with this result. Like I can click, I can scroll. So good. Scrolling is a little bit scratchy because it is plastic on plastic rubbing, but for a completely DIY design that I made at home, it's really cool. And the bolt heads are tall enough to raise the back of the watch off the desk so it doesn't get scratched, but spaced wide enough to not get in the way of wireless charging. And most importantly, the glow in the dark works really well. Like my wife was laying in bed and I'm just throwing this thing around, just really enjoying how easy it is to find now in a pitch black room. It did take a fair few tries to get the right fitment for the crown extension, but now I can click on the side, scroll on top, pair a pair of Bluetooth headphones for a distraction-free Spotify MP3 player. If you liked today's video, thumbs it. If you loved it, sub it so you can see more custom tech and tech reviews as is. Like this one, I just bought a super cheap pair of headphones that have a touch screen with a micro SD card slot. What could that be for? I'm about to try testing these ones out. All right, catch you, dude. Bye.